Imagine praying for something, believing with all your heart, only to find the situation getting worse. Have you ever found yourself in a situation like this? You're not alone. Across the globe, countless individuals have experienced the disheartening reality of unanswered prayers. They've knelt down, clasped their hands, and offered their hopes, dreams, and fears to a higher power, only to find their circumstances deteriorating rather than improving. Picture a mother, desperate for her child's illness to be healed, praying fervently day after day. Yet despite her pleas, the child's health continues to decline. Or consider a man, jobless for months, who prays every day for a chance to provide for his family. Instead, he watches as opportunities slip through his fingers one after the other. These are not isolated incidents. They are stories that echo in the hearts of many. Stories of prayers that seem to float into the ether, unanswered and disregarded. It's a reality that leaves many grappling with questions, doubts, and sometimes a deep sense of disillusionment. So why does this happen? Why do some prayers seem to fall on deaf ears? Is there a divine plan that we simply cannot comprehend? Or is it a stark reminder of the randomness and unpredictability of life? These are questions that have puzzled theologians, philosophers, and ordinary people alike for centuries. And while there are no definitive answers, the exploration of these questions can lead to profound insights about faith, the nature of God, and our place in the universe. In the face of unanswered prayers, some find their faith shaken, while others find it strengthened. Some turn to questioning the existence of God, while others choose to believe that their prayers are being answered in ways they can't yet understand. The concept of unanswered prayers is a complex and challenging one. It straddles the delicate line between faith and doubt, between hope and despair. It forces us to confront the often uncomfortable reality that life does not always unfold as we wish it would, despite our deepest prayers and most fervent beliefs. So what happens when prayers don't bring the results we hope for? Let's delve into some real-life stories of people whose situations worsened despite their fervent prayers. Consider the story of Jane, a devout woman who found herself struggling with a life-threatening illness. She prayed day in and day out for a miracle, yet her condition only deteriorated. Despite her unwavering faith, Jane's prayers went unanswered, and she was left to face her illness without the divine intervention she so desperately sought. Then there's the tale of Michael, a man who lost everything in a natural disaster. He prayed for the safety of his family and the restoration of his home. Yet the more he prayed, the more he seemed to lose. His prayers, it seemed, fell on deaf ears. Think about Lisa, a single mother working 2 jobs to make ends meet. She prayed every night for a break, for a chance to provide a better life for her child. But instead of finding relief, her situation worsened. She lost one of her jobs and her child fell ill. Despite her earnest prayers, her circumstances remained bleak. Or, contemplate the story of Sam, a soldier who prayed for peace and safety in the midst of war. He prayed for his comrades, for the innocents caught in the crossfire, for an end to the violence. But the war raged on, and Sam was eventually caught in a deadly attack. These are but a few stories among countless others. Each one of these individuals prayed with conviction, with a deep-seated belief in the power of prayer. Yet their prayers seemed to echo into a void, their pleas met with silence. Their faith, it seemed, was not enough to alter their circumstances. These stories bring us to question the efficacy of prayer. Does this mean that prayer is useless, or does it challenge our understanding of faith? Let's dive into the question of faith. It's a topic as vast as the universe itself, and interpretations of what faith means are as diverse as the stars in the sky. Some see faith as a steadfast belief in a divine plan, a trust in the cosmic order of things. Others view it as a personal relationship with the divine, one that is not measured by the tangible results of prayers. Faith, in its purest form, is not a transactional relationship, where we put in prayers and expect rewards in return, nor is it a celestial insurance policy, offering us protection from all the world's woes. Rather, it's a deep-seated belief, a trust in something greater than ourselves. It's the acceptance that we don't have all the answers, and the humility to admit that we might never fully understand the grand scheme of things. And what of adversity? In the face of hardship, faith is not just tested, it's often forged. It's in the crucible of trials and tribulations that faith takes on its true form. For many, these challenges are not evidence of divine neglect, but opportunities for growth and self-discovery. Let's consider the concept of divine will, the belief that everything happens for a reason. This perspective suggests that life's trials are not punishments, but lessons, each one an opportunity to learn, grow, and evolve. It's a perspective that requires a shift in thinking, a relinquishing of control, a surrender to the ebb and flow of life. So when prayers seem unanswered, when life seems unfair, it's not a sign that faith has failed. Instead, it's an invitation to explore faith on a deeper level, to question, to seek, to wrestle with the mysteries of existence. It's an opportunity to grow, to learn, to find strength in vulnerability and wisdom in uncertainty. Faith, then, becomes a personal journey rather than a guaranteed solution. From an atheist viewpoint, these stories might reaffirm the belief that God does not exist. When we dive into the depths of the atheist perspective, we find a rich tapestry of thought that is often misunderstood. Atheists, contrary to some popular misconceptions, are not devoid of morals or meaning. Rather, they typically seek logical explanations for the world around them, and the stories of unanswered prayers we've discussed may serve as further evidence supporting their viewpoint. Unanswered prayers can be seen as a clear demonstration of the absence of divine intervention. From the atheist perspective, if a benevolent, omnipotent deity existed, surely they would prevent the suffering of their devout followers. The fact that prayers often go unanswered, even in the most dire of circumstances, can be interpreted as proof that there is no divine entity influencing our lives. This perspective does not diminish the suffering or struggles that people experience. On the contrary, it underscores the reality that life can be unpredictable and often unfair. Rather than attributing these experiences to a divine plan or a test of faith, atheists may view them as random events in a complex and chaotic world. But it's important to note that atheism isn't about disproving the existence of God, it's about seeking evidence and questioning the world around us. It's about the pursuit of understanding and knowledge and the refusal to accept things at face value without evidence. In the context of unanswered prayers, atheists may find strength in acknowledging the harsh realities of life rather than attributing them to a divine plan. They may find solace in the idea that it's not a higher power causing their suffering, but rather the unpredictable nature of existence itself. In the end, it's not about whether God exists or not. It's about how we choose to respond to the challenges we face, how we choose to find meaning, purpose, and resilience in a world that often seems indifferent to our struggles. Yet the existence or absence of God is not the focus, but rather our response to adversity. In the face of adversity, where do we find the strength to keep going if not from divine intervention? Let's take a moment to ponder this. The stories we've heard today might seem disheartening, tales of prayers unanswered, of divine intervention seemingly absent. But what if we turn the lens around? What if these narratives aren't about divine absence, but about human presence, resilience, and personal growth? When the tide turns against us, when our prayers seem to echo back unanswered, it's easy to feel abandoned. But perhaps, just perhaps, these are the moments that truly test us, that shape us, that allow us to discover the depths of our own strength. Consider the caterpillar. Before it can become a butterfly, it must first endure the struggle of metamorphosis. It's in this struggle, not in spite of it, that the caterpillar transforms. Similarly, in the crucible of adversity, we too can find our wings. In the absence of divine intervention, we are left with ourselves. And that's far from a bleak prospect. It's an opportunity to grow, to learn, to adapt, to discover that we are stronger than we ever imagined, that we can face the storm and emerge from it, not unscathed, but undeterred. Life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass, it's about learning to dance in the rain. It's about finding the courage within ourselves to face life's challenges head-on. It's about understanding that it's not the absence of problems that defines a good life, but our ability to navigate them. In the end, it's not about whether God helps or hinders us, but how we navigate our own path through life's challenges. The power of self is a formidable force. Let's not underestimate it, let's harness it, cultivate it, and celebrate it. After all, they say that God helps those who help themselves. But perhaps it's more accurate to say that those who help themselves discover their own divine strength. In the end, it is not about whether God helps or hinders us, but how we navigate our own path through life's challenges.